Welcome back to Project Independence in You, Community Talk Radio on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. We are now in our Talk of the Town segments with the fabulous Kristina Liu, who is also, of course, the radio show producer. And as I say every week, pulls together the best guests. And I must say that Dr. Murthy was fantastic. What great information. I joked during the break that, I felt like I was in a college class, and my instinct was to take a pen and just start, writing, but really just interesting information. I definitely have a much better understanding of neuropathy now. I just, it's just to get the understanding, how it occurs in instances. It can be reversed. Mostly it can't. Why it happens, where it happens. It's genetic. It can be induced by medication. It can happen. You can get it from, a trauma, the sciatic nerve. And see, I listened, Otto.
I know a lot of people, actually, not a lot, not thousands, but 5 at least, who I talk to about neuropathy, who will listen to this program because of it. I told them that he was going to be on.
No, and Dr. Murthy, that's what's just amazing about this show, that we get access to, really knowledgeable doctors, and a shout out to Annette Roth, who, is my go-to at Northwell when I have a topic and we work together on it. And she always gives me an amazing speaker, and he was so clear, and it really is something that affects people in such different ways. And I mean, all ages. I know people who are on the younger end that have had some kind of trauma, that experience neuropathy and a loss of kind of feeling in their feet. And it's just, I think he did such a great job. And Beck, I felt the same way as you. I was like, I feel like I'm being tested on this, But a great job, guys. I think you asked a lot of important questions. And it's an interview that I would definitely want to go back to and listen to everything.
Yeah.
What I liked is he teaches people as a doctor, and I'm sure in his classes he talks to doctors about the need to listen to the patients and take the time to do that. And no knock on doctors, but there are some that don't do that. All right, that's a fact. In every business, there are people with various levels of skill, and to me, a communication skill is an important part of being a doctor. You could be the most mechanically perfect doctor when it comes to diagnosis, but you still, most people really want to feel a little comfortable and be able to talk to the doctor. Not just be treated like a piece of meat who's being diagnosed.
Yeah, but I think, and Otto, we've obviously talked about this a lot of times on the show about, talking to your doctor. And I think you brought up a good point too, that, to kind of overcompensate for their lack of time, to come in as prepared as possible. So you on your end could at least kind of hit the points that you want to hit, which I think is so important to do as well. So.
And I think a good doctor respects that. They're not feeling interrogated. They would prefer you to be ready with questions and explain the situation as clearly as you can.
And his specialty is not so clear cut. Like if I break my leg, I slide into home plate, which I did many, many years ago. They do an x-ray and they say, okay, you have a break. The best way to treat this break is this. So there, but with what he's looking for, specifically with the, neuropathy, you almost have to be a detective,
right?
So in certain instances, history isn't as important. It's always important. But like what he was saying was to kind of you really have to investigate this particular kind of condition because there's so many different reasons why you could have it. It could be something because of a medication you're taking. It could be because of an accident you had. It could be genetic. There's so many different, and so, like he said, sometimes the percentage of how many times they don't know why you have it. So
It could be
you
because of COVID.
could be because of COVID, and so it's like you really have to be a detective to determine. So, like, all doctor, I mean, there's no doctor on the planet, I don't think, besides this doctor, who can spend an hour with anybody in today's world. But part of being able to diagnose this particular condition is understanding why you have it. So I guess, but he's great. I mean, I love his background. He's just this overall excellent physician.
Yeah, and I think the important message was, whereas sometimes you might not be able to obviously cure it, but there are ways of kind of managing, the condition to best of your ability. And I think, Otto, you had mentioned in the beginning, my grandpa struggled for so long with neuropathy, and it impacted his balance, and so many different factors because he couldn't feel, the ground. So it threw off his whole equilibrium,
It
so I
messes
think
up
it's just,
sleep big time
yeah.
for, you know, which if your sleep is not good, that messes up a lot of other
Right.
things.
It's like this never
Yeah.
ending circle of stuff,
Yeah.
So I think it was important message that he got across, that there are certain ways to kind of, help manage this condition, which is certainly important. So just want to remind people to get in touch with his office. You can call 516-325-7000 to get in touch with him. Obviously, you could always call 311 or 516-869-6311 to get connected. So another great show. Another one for the books, guys. Good stuff. Now,
Really good.
Otto, we missed you last week. You let
I
Beck
missed
and
being
I.
here.
Beck and I were just on our own, and you
I
missed
was
us.
at a wedding in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, destination wedding. And the wedding was very, very good. And typical of most weddings nowadays, the generation gap for music is pretty big. It's interesting how the world has changed. I remember when I was like in the 7th or 8th grade, we had a school dance, all right? And part of that was we learned how to do the foxtrot, the Lindy, rumba, whatever. These were
Otto, do
that's
you
what
have
we were
any of these
taught.
skills still? Is what we want to
So
know.
my grandson, 2 weeks ago, he's 14. His name is Otto. He's going to his first dance. So I asked him, I said,
Oh,
Otto, I said, what kind of dances did you do? So he says, YMCA and Macarena. I'm saying they're not dances. I'm like, you didn't have to even come 40 feet near a woman or a girl. You're doing YMCA. I mean, I do YMCA, but I don't consider it a dance. So that world, there's a generation gap, which you guys are, you're more toward the other part of it. Like I joked around here, I said, I'm going to request a polka, because I used to love to do the polka. I grew up with my partially German heritage, learning how to do the polka at a very early age.
well, Otto, if you ever want to do the polka and have some kind of audience, I know Beck and I would be the right in the front row.
I would do it.
Do you know how to do the polka?
I don't. I have
I
to
could
tell you,
lead you, I think.
Wow.
Just got a notice today that I have my 40-year high school reunion coming up.
Uh-oh.
And I graduated in 82, and we were not doing the foxtrot either. It was more like we were even a little young for the hustle, but it came out, I guess. So, that was the kind of dancing. But I didn't grow up learning that kind of stuff. And I was
No, and I wish I did. It's such a cool thing.
I know.
But they don't play it anywhere.
No.
To be honest about it, I try to be very open. I think you know that about the aging process and what the new generations do. And the one area that I probably have the biggest gap is music. To me, the music, first of all, I don't understand 98% of the words, and it's always ba bum ba boom ba boom ba boom.
Right. It's
So
like
I always play the drums on the table with knives and forks, but to me, music is typically the same beat. There's no variance, and everybody's doing the same thing. I know how to do all that stuff. You don't have to know anything. You just get up there and jump around and wave your arms. To me, like you used to go to weddings, there were bands. Now there's all DJs. Very rarely is there a band. Um, and it's just a
I had a
different,
band at my wedding, just saying.
yeah, but how many years ago was that?
30.
Okay. That explains it. But nowadays it's all DJs. And for some reason, the DJ thinks that everybody's there to be entertained by the DJ, as opposed to the people who are sitting on the table who haven't seen each other for 10 years, who would like to talk to each other. And they can't because the music is so loud that you can't. And even people in your age brackets complain about it, yet it keeps going on.
No one wants to sit next to the speaker. I mean, let's just put it
No.
that way.
Thank
Don't put me
God. The
near the
one
speaker.
good thing here was we were all the way on the back, on the main table, but it was that way.
Yeah,
Well, you know what? It's one of those
But the
things.
wedding was beautiful. Everything was, the venue
Good.
was great. The cocktail hour was great. The food was great. The bride and groom were good. They're nice
Yeah,
people.
well, and I think these weddings are even more special now and these occasions because we went so long not being able to celebrate, so it just makes it all the more special, and monumental to have these fun little
Well,
outings.
and that there is something to be said for this destination business as long as it's not the Bahamas. We went to
right.
the Poconos, so
That's
everybody.
not bad.
No, so
Yeah.
everybody stays at a hotel, and then they had a big
Yeah.
bus take you back and forth to the catering place,
I
which
like
was
it.
beautiful. Don't ask me the name; I forgot it already. But it was really nice. But anyhow, the point was I wasn't here last Friday. I was at a wedding.
That's right. You're just a busy man. And Beck
Well,
and I had
Christina,
we had a jam-packed show, right,
yeah,
Beck?
Christina kept us going. She
You
We
had
had
had,
the
a
parks
wonderful panel.
people.
Parker, yep, we learned all about, and it was just they were incredible because it was all the different programs that are being offered at Parker, and some are grant funded, some are just based on insurance or whatnot. But it was really a lot of information. We had on Beck. How many guests do we have on? There might have been 4 guests, I guess, that
for
were on one.
Otto, you would have really appreciated all the programs they do at Parker are terrific, but one of the programs that's kind of new, it's not maybe 3 months old, and all these other programs have been around for quite a while, was a program for caregivers dealing specifically with trauma. So like their loved one could be the one that has dementia or Alzheimer's and maybe was a Holocaust survivor. So people who, I mean, and it can go either way. It could also be the caregiver who's like had a trauma. I mean, we've all had trauma in their life, but it was just so interesting. And it's a very new program, so they don't have a lot of data yet on it. But
Yeah, it was
how
exciting. They just started. It was the Hope and Healing. The will. What was it? It was called Hope and Healing, I believe, is what the. It was like a brand spanking new program. It just started in March.
fascinating,
Yeah.
really,
Well,
on
25 years ago, rough number, my mother would go to Parker on
Mhm.
a daily basis. A bus would pick her up and bring her there, and it was like a little social gathering.
Yeah, and it's just
yeah.
we talked about that. Then there was the Willing Hearts Helpful Hands program, which is also for caregivers, and they do a lot of wonderful work. And then
Wasn't there a guy named Mark who was a
yeah,
social
yeah,
worker
he
with you?
actually had worked for Project Independence, and then he worked over there. So I don't think
He's
he's
not there
there.
anymore.
No.
No.
And then Parker at Your Door, is a great in-home services
Great.
for certain people that qualify, and it was just a lot. And then on top, that wasn't enough. We had on the Parks Department to talk about all the upcoming kind of events that were going on. So by
It
the
was
end,
a busy show.
Otto, you really left us hanging. You got some nerve going to these destination weddings.
Yeah.
But it was really a great show. And if anybody wants to listen to it, if you missed
Yeah.
it, you can go to the WCWP Studios YouTube page or the Project Independence radio show archive page on our website. So
I
When
think we
would
did pretty well, Christina.
I think we did.
I'm sure you did. I have no doubt about it. Both very, very
did.
competent ladies.
Thank you.
When will the show that we just had on about neuropathy, is it on YouTube like right away almost?
No, so our fabulous Wizard of Oz, Dan Cox, he works on it. So sometime next week, we usually have it. He does all the editing and works his magic. So as soon as I get it, though, I will send it out. It will be up. So it's really, I'm excited for people to hear that. I'm definitely going to send that around to all of our social workers and nurses. I think it was great. So good stuff, guys. I want to remind everyone that there's a great new kind of a mini conference that's going to be going on next week. It's Wednesday, June 15th from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. It's called Staying Safe in Summer. It's going to be at the North Hempstead Yes We Can Community Center. And it's really got a solid lineup. It's going to have one of our nurses, Kelly Steinman, is going to talk about the Vial of Life program. Sherry Baton, who is our mobility manager, is going to do pedestrian safety. Then we have on someone to discuss summer skincare for seniors. And to wrap it up, it's a little craft they're going to be doing. So it's a really fun, informative day. So that is going to be, once again, June 15th, 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. over at the North Hempstead Yes We Can Community Center. So
Is that open to anyone, or
that is open to anyone.
no
You know,
registration required?
Yeah, well, we actually registered so we can get an idea. Actually, while the show's been going on, I've been getting some registration. So I always
good.
encourage people to just call and register, just in case, obviously we can't have a million people there. So definitely call.
All right. Well, on that note, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back with Talk of the Town on Project Independence in You on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. We will be right back.
WCWP is your home for great music and great conversation. You'll find all that and more on WCWP.org. Listen live on the web, check out the lineup, subscribe to podcasts, and stay up to date on the latest station events. Get in touch with us and let us know if you like what you're hearing. And find out how you can support or get involved at the only community public radio station serving Nassau's North Shore. Plus, sign up to get a free bumper sticker. It's all online at WCWP.org.
Welcome back to Project Independence in You, Community Talk Radio on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. I'm here along with the best hosting team in the business, Rebecca Miller, along with Otto Los and Kristina Lou. Kristina, who is also the radio show producer and facilitates Talk of the Town. She knows what's going on in North Hempstead, and really it's town-wide across the board, not just for our senior residents, but for all their families too. So looks like we have a good program coming up Wednesday. Call 311-516-869-6311 to register. Hey, have you guys ever tried to dial a number, a 516 number without 516? And you
I have.
get through, right?
Yep. Because
Yep.
a lot of numbers in my cell phone I never saved with, the area code. So now, you click on it and you're like, what's going on? But that's.
What about the one in front of it?
I don't think you have to do the one anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I do the one.
You
No.
know, you'd think like Apple or some of the phone companies would have a way to kind of just any phone number that only has the 7 numbers within the area code of
Yep.
your phone number, they could just like pop in 516.
I'm with you, Beck. I've thought of that many times. We might have to patent it. We might have
Yeah.
to create it with some
Go
technology.
right into my contacts. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is that how do they know you're calling within your area code?
Because it does, if it doesn't have an area
Right.
code,
Oh, okay.
you would only have been able to call them from your phone from the same area code,
Yeah.
Okay.
516.
It seems relatively simple. I mean, I
Now,
don't think
within
we're.
Suffolk, though,
I agree.
you're going to get another area code, I think, within Suffolk County besides 631. So,
There is another one.
so that's going to now make that more complicated.
We don't even have a home phone anymore. And my cell, I've had the same cell number for, I don't even know how many years, since well over 20. So it's 516.
You know why we have a phone? Because if we take the phone away, our cable bill will go up because we have the
ridiculous?
triple play
I know.
and you're grandfathered in with
It's
the
one of those things.
landline. If you take the landline out of the package, now everything else goes up.
Hmm.
I tried it.
Yeah, I've been there. It's very odd. It's one of those things that you can't quite figure out. But needless to say, everyone, just remember the 516 if you are in, the town. You can't just call the number anymore. So 516-869-6311 is the magic number of North Hempstead. We've been talking a lot about summer safety and tips and, the beautiful sun outside. And of course, it's important to get outside and get some fresh air, but we want everyone to obviously do it safely. So in our newsletter that came out in June, our Project and Pen's email newsletter, there's a great little quick safety tips. It's all bulleted list, Otto, which I know me and you love. So it's a quick little tips just to stay safe in summer. It's really about staying hydrated, how important that is. I am like the walking preacher of staying hydrated because I've seen people of all ages get impacted by dehydration. And it could actually kind of mirror other things. So you might think something way crazier is going on, and it turns out it's because they were dehydrated. So I'm always yelling at my parents to stay hydrated. So that's my personal bone to pick with that. And you know what? How I stay hydrated? I have a really fun water bottle that has stickers all over it of things that I love, and it's a nice big hearty water bottle that I travel around with, and it kind of makes it fun to drink. I make it for everyone. I made it for my friends, my family. So make drinking water fun. It's really,
Of course you do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it fun. I get to look at my stickers and see the things that bring me joy. So that's just my 2 cents. It's also important to wear light and loose clothing, breathable clothing. Have emergency contacts, whether it's in your phone or a hard copy on you, because God forbid something happens to you outside, to have that. Really how important it is to know the side effects of medications. A lot of medications, as we've addressed in our first hour, can cause different issues. And some medications actually cause sensitivity to the sun. Stay cool. It's really important to stay in the AC or indoors or in the shade when you're outside. It's important to kind of keep track of all these things. And of course, to know the weather forecast. We want people to get outside and enjoy the fresh air, but obviously not if it's, very, very hot or the humidity is super high. So, and of course, skin safety. Otto, we were talking during the break about how important that is. I really hope to get someone to come on the show sometime this summer to talk about the importance of it. Listen, we've all been there, I think, to make the mistakes and the carefree attitude and have gotten crazy sunburn from it. And you're not thinking at the time what that damage is doing to your skin. So I think it's certainly an important topic for all ages.
That's a hard message to get across, because I've tried to get that message across with daughter, granddaughter, because I had my share of skin damage from the sun. And you really have to start at an early age, being conscious of the fact that as good as it feels and as much as people would like to get a little bit of a tan, the bottom line is you're doing tremendous damage to your skin, which shows up much later in life. And then you end up with skin cancer and all kinds of other marks on your face that weren't there when you started,
It's true.
And
it's very, very true.
But that's a hard message to get across. It's a little bit like smoking, people know smoking's not good for you.
Yeah, but it's like you're not thinking at the time,
Some people still insist on getting into it. And the same thing with sunburn. You get sunburn and blisters and puffed up skin and whatever, you're doing long-term
and I've
damage.
definitely, I could if I close my eyes, I could look back to all the times being really young and coming with some kind of insane burn.
A nice blister where you punch it.
Please.
Oh, yeah.
But so hopefully we'll have someone this summer scheduled to do that topic, because as you can see, it's a beneficial one. So I am definitely going to try and do that. And just coming up, hot off the presses, we have July is all booked, and some of the topics that we will be showcasing in July. We are going to talk about, we have Cornell Cooperative Extension on, who's going to discuss food storage and expiration tips. We certainly have talked about this numerous times on our show, and I think, expiration and storage, especially in the summer when it's hot and humid, we laugh about how our fruits just go bad so fast. So I'm excited to have that topic on. We are also going to be having a good topic on managing anxiety and stress, which I think we always could use a little refresher course on. And then we're going to have on the National Library Service about the talking books. We had mentioned this a few weeks back, and it got brought up, so I tracked someone down to come on and talk about that. And then we are going to have on a company called MedMinder. That's this amazing technology that had been created to kind of keep people independent and allow them to, not forget to take their pills. And it's a whole really interesting technology. So stay tuned for all those things in July. There's great stuff coming up. And of course, if you have any suggestions or topics that you think would be good to have, please call 311 or 516-869-6311, and I will be glad to kind of do some research on that. So
I'm going to ask you a topic that I read about that came out, upskill workforce.
mm-hmm.
You know much about it, or?
Upskill workforce. It sounds kind of familiar, Otto.
Well, the town came out with a bulletin, I guess.
It did. I saw it.
And it's a training program for people between the ages of 18 and 24 who may not be destined for college, and they get work experience and other kinds of experience. And I know a number of people that might fit into that category, and it's not a negative, it's not a derogatory thing. Everybody's different, and that might be one that'd be worth.
Absolutely. I'm looking at, I found what you were talking about, and I definitely want to get more information on this because.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a good one, maybe a half hour or whatever.
Yeah.
Segment, you know.
Well, you heard it here first, Otto. I'm going to track someone down to do that because I think a lot of these programs are amazing. A lot of my family members work for Nassau BOCES, and my brother in particular works for Barry Tech, and the programs that they offer there for and the skills. I mean, I had no idea how wide ranged it was. So I think it's important, because I agree. I think in this day and age, we're kind of in a different time where some people college is great, and you kind of that's what you want to do, but other people, and I've known a lot, like that's just not their thing. And I just think it's just to get that on the job kind of workforce experience and skill is really good.
Kristina, what you just described about BOCES also, maybe there could be a show that's a combination of BOCES and something like this upskill workforce.
Yeah, because my brother tells me the programs that go on, and they're
how does that apply to seniors? Well, in my opinion, there are some relationships that seniors have with grandchildren where they may talk to them about what they're going to do with their lives, and maybe both sides could learn, and the grandparent could help point out these things to the kid who's 18 is not going to listen, but people who are around him who may offer some help if he wants it, or she, so the more we know about that kind of thing, the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And listen, I always think, and that's what I say about this show. Yes, a lot of the things we talk about can be senior focused, but it's so much bigger than that. I mean, even like just talking about like the neurology, the neuropathy in the first segment, I think these things are so important just to know, because as you said, Otto, everyone, you talk to your neighbor, you talk to your friend, your family member, whatever it is, and to be more knowledgeable about kind of programs and services are out there that could help someone or something they didn't know about. I mean, I know all the time when I've had a conversation with someone, I said, oh, why don't you try this? And oh my God, so it's these little things. So the more, knowledge is power, right? So I think it's certainly important to kind of just know all these things and to spread it no matter what age you are. So, but I will certainly track someone down, Otto, and try to get someone on the show to do that, because I think that's a great topic. So marking it down now.
Did we talk about who's on next week?
Next week we have a repeat show.
Oh, right.
So yes, my days. So next week is actually a repeat, but it's gonna be a great show. I haven't decided yet, but it's gonna be one of the great guests we've had on in recent times, which is very hard to narrow down because there's been a lot of great ones. So
I'll be able to tell you about Legoland in 2 weeks.
I love that. Well, you know what, Otto?
Going to Legoland on Sunday.
And I'm really glad you brought that up, because I think on this show too, I'll give a little shout out. I got a lovely thank you card on my desk when I came in the other day, and it was from one of our residents who was expressing how much she loves the radio show and just the information, and she particularly loved the segment and this was many years ago, where I had brought up about, we were talking about things to do outside and activities. And I had said, my father and I had made a tiki bar many years back. And we kind of revamped it in our new home. And she just loved that segment. And I was just thinking, because sometimes we can, get off topic, but I think just talking about activities and things that we do in the area are just a fun thing that people enjoy. So I'm excited, Otto, to hear all about your Legoland when you come back, because I know a lot of my friends have taken their children there. So
Well, what's interesting is I got a phone call a 3 days ago. My son and his wife and the 2 grandchildren are going. I bought an annual pass 3 years ago, right, when it was going to open. And then because of COVID, now 3 years later, we're finally going to go this Sunday. So we make a reservation, and the only rooms you can get in the Legoland Hotel are Lego themed. So we were going to be in a pirate room, my wife and I. It has all kinds of Lego stuff,
Did they like sprinkle Legos on the floor so you could step on them as a memory when the kids were little?
There's Lego stuff all over the room,
Oh, Otto, I'm going to beg you. You need to take photos of
Yeah, but here's what happened, though. My son got tested positive for COVID.
Oh.
So he canceled the Legoland hotel rooms, but now he's all clean and whatever. So we're going to go to a hotel that's about 5 minutes from there. Half the price, by the way.
Okay.
Actually, $200 cheaper each.
Now, what does Legoland have? Does Legoland have like rides?
Rides, swim, all kinds of stuff. All focus obviously towards what Legoland is. And they have, food and whatever. It's a pretty big complex.
Yeah, because when I was a child, Sesame Place was like all the rage. So I
never went there.
Yeah, we used to go all the time.
That's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, I don't, but I remember that was our one of our go-to family vacations. But I see Legoland all the time on my friends' social media pages, so they're certainly always bringing their kids over to Legoland.
Well, it's in Goshen, New York, which is about, it's according to Google Maps, an hour and 40 minutes away from New Hyde Park.
Well, that sounds like a great time. And you were doing.
And I've heard a cousin of mine went and with his daughter and kids and whatever, said it was good.
Oh, so, well, fun. Well, I can't wait to hear you report back. I like Otto running around in Legoland. I'm really, really into this.
Yeah.
So it's a fun little thing. I can't wait, Otto. That is the weekend plans. Beck, do you have any fun weekend plans as well?
I just have a graduation party tomorrow, and I'm getting a mani-pedi after work. Other than that, I'm, enjoying my son home from college, and my other son has been traveling, like amazing journey. He went to Salt Lake City. They went to Lake Blanche. They're in Yellowstone. He sent me video of a grizzly bear near Cubs and the landscapes. Just, it's amazing. I mean, I had just gone to Colorado. I thought what I did see is amazing, but what he's experiencing is just.
Are they driving through everything?
Yeah. So a friend of his from high school lives in Salt Lake City, and he invited Matt to come out for a week, and this kid's very organized. He has an itinerary, and they have Airbnbs, and they're going everywhere, and mapped out the trails are going to be going on, and it's just every day I'm getting these pictures that are.
Oh, that's awesome! I want to do. Tell Matt to send that my way.
Yeah,
I would love to. I would love to. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, this weekend, you guys, in my latest party planning journey, we are going to the Library Cafe in Farmingdale for my sister-in-law, Amanda, who was on the radio show not too long ago, her 30th birthday. That is ongoing as much as my 30th birthday was. We are renting a space there, so about 25 of us are going to do it. But she, of course, we said, let's do it at a place. This way it's not as stressful. I don't have to do all this work in my house. But, of course, who are we dealing with?
Yeah, of course.
And it's always extra. And I laugh because I'm looking at this amount of stuff I have to transport to the library cafe. It's getting just excessive because she wanted a Bridgerton themed party. So if anyone's familiar with Bridgerton,
Oh, of course.
Netflix. So it's quite the soiree. So I was making centerpieces, and so it is quite the extravaganza. But I'm excited, looking forward to it.
Do you know the story behind the library cafe? So the library cafe's been there a long time in Farmingdale. And, of course, we have Farmingdale, the SUNY Farmingdale right nearby, right up off of Melville Road and 110. So, the parents call the kids and the kids say, Mom, I'm at the library, no matter, and they're there, it's a huge bar. So
it's quite the bar too. It's a beautiful, beautiful facility. So it's a great place.
yeah, it is a great place. I'm sure it'll be a great party with it all in Kristina's hands.
Right.
We have to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Project Independence and You Talk of the Town. You're listening to 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. We'll be right back.
Take WCWP with you wherever you go with the WCWP app. Listen live 24/7 to all of our streams, all from one app. Plus, call the studios directly from the app and visit our social media. Download the app through the iOS App Store on Apple devices or the Google Play Store on Android by searching WCWP Radio, or visit WCWP.org for links. The WCWP app, available now on iOS and Android devices.
Welcome back to Project Independence and You, Community Talk Radio, Talk of the Town with Kristina Lou. We're just learning all kinds of fun things about what we're doing this weekend, and also what's going on in the town. So, of course, there's a lot going on in the town. There's a lot that's already gone on in the town. I mean, it's so busy. Our office, Department of Services for the Aging, of course, shares the office with Community Services. Kimberly is the commissioner over both departments, and it is so busy. They have so much going on, and we get deliveries, and we're planning for Fun Day Monday, and it's just really lively. It's really,
and Beck, give us a
happen
little
in time.
Otto missed all the fun lineup of Fun Day Monday that we shared last week. So
I do have a question about Fun Day Monday, though.
And we have a change too.
yes,
Oh, okay. Monday, July 25th, Health Fair, and it says National Circus Project. I'm curious about both of those. The Health Fair, I remember being at one in the past. You have vendors there?
So, yeah, we'll have the health fair, which will be on, tented, and we'll have our vendors, so all different vendors, all kind of senior services minded vendors. National Circus Project, maybe we'll do a little bit more of a description. They provide characters that kind of walk around and they juggle and they're on stilts, or they're like a beautiful fairy, or whatever, is kind of capturing the minds of, of the people. We had it, I believe we had it last year. We only had two of our Fun
but
Day
they've been
Mondays.
at like Spring Fest, right?
Yeah, they're a great partner. They provide characters. They come to Spring Fest and all kinds of events at the town, and they're very entertaining for kids, and you can take pictures with them. They also do a little performance if you want on the stage, but for the most part, they're just going to be walking around in costume and, taking pictures with people.
Cool.
So that's a
And-
full day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
well,
full
it's
day.
from Fun Day Mondays. What? It's 10 to 2 p.m. Is that
Yeah,
the
so
11,
it's
it
10
says.
to 2. People usually stay longer and come early.
This flyer says 11.
Well, I think the front says with the timing of it. The back of it is just the entertainment schedule.
Okay.
Because I think
Oh,
the front
okay.
should say 10 to 2. I know I had them change it, so.
Yeah, I might have an older flyer in front of me, so
Yeah,
there might.
see?
Yep, there you go. Yes,
Says 10
10
to
to
2.
2.
I
And
only have the-
transportation is available, bus transportation.
Yeah.
So you can call 311 for those, Beck. And I know you said there is a change.
Yeah, so Tuesday, we're changing up the flyer to Tuesday, I'm sorry. The second Fun Day Monday is going to be, we're going to have Dance Aloha open up, and they've
Oh.
always been a great partner. And they're going to come. I think there's 3 of them. They'll be doing like, what do you call the dance? You know, the Hawaiian
Like
dance and little instruction, just fun music, and they'll be all dressed up and, fun clothes. And then after that, we're going to have simpatico, and they're kind of a jazzy band. They'll be playing from 12 to 2. So that's going to be in
Instead
place
of
of
Vic
whatever was
Vincent?
there.
Instead of Vic Vincent?
Yes.
Okay.
And so it kicks off July 11th, Fun Day Monday. And Beth,
Yeah.
I also believe there is going to be pickleball going on.
We are working on that. It looks like we're keeping our fingers crossed that we're going to, pickleball's always been available, like you could play, but what we're looking to do is bring in a pickleball instructor and set it up so that, there'll be like an hour in the morning where people can sign up for pickleball instruction, and then they can play during the day. That's fine. But this particular hour, we're working on getting a really good instructor.
Great.
So we're excited about that.
Yeah, and I just want to remind people, on top of all this entertainment that goes on, there's going to be some fitness classes offered, mahjong, beach walks, games, crafts. I mean, there's really something
And
going
line dancing.
And line dancing, that's right.
Right. So we have to. So a lot of things happened, over the pandemic. A lot of the regular entertainers, some of them have moved, some of them are no longer doing the same kinds of programs. They've changed, become virtual, and aren't going back to going in person. So we are going to have a lot of new entertainers, including line dancing. And of course, I have to give a shout out to Margaret Getsonis, who has been our incredible fitness instructor. She does Zumba Gold, dance, fitness. She has a following you cannot believe. We always have to turn people away. We have a waiting list. She's been with us, I don't even know how long, since I guess before Emily came, and she teaches at CGM on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. She goes to Port Washington. She's always been pretty much a regular at Fun Day Monday, and everyone loves her. When we do registration for fitness classes, everyone signs up for Margaret first. She's fantastic. Margaret is venturing into another journey, and it doesn't look like she'll be coming back. So I am both heartbroken because she's such a wonderful soul, a wonderful, inspirational person in so many different ways. But she's moving into a different journey, a different place in her life, and she's so excited about it. And I just wanted to give a shout out to her, a really nice formal shout
Absolutely.
out.
Everyone,
And it's bittersweet.
I have a
maybe
different
Margaret has
request.
some friends like her,
I got another request for you for Fun Day Monday. Believe this or not, now this is going to come from left field, all right?
I'm scared.
Yesterday, I was driving through Mineola, and there's a park in the middle of Mineola, which is just a big open field. And lo and behold, what was going on in that park? There were a bunch of boys playing cricket. Right?
Oh, wow.
And my thought was, when you mentioned pickleball, cricket is a game that there's a lot of people now in North Hempstead that come from countries where cricket was the game.
Wait, that's not the one you need the horse with, though, right? Like,
no, cricket, like they play for days, from what I gather it, and they have this big bat that they use, and I have witnessed it a couple of times. I do not understand it at all, and I actually played it for about 5 minutes in England when I visited our factory there. They were playing cricket. My point being, maybe, like you mentioned, a pickleball instructor, maybe a cricket instructor or somebody who explains what cricket's all about might be something different.
I mean, that's interesting, but to be honest, the reason we're doing pickleball is we had so many requests for it.
You didn't have any cricket requests?
Not that I've heard. This is the first one, but if you call 311, I can track them as they come in, because maybe some of our listeners will be like,
that's right. They've been waiting for this topic.
Good old cricket.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's a game that is played in lots of, obviously India and a lot of Asian countries. They play cricket. That's the game. And people are really pretty rabid about the cricket teams that they root for.
Wow, we'll have to look into cricket,
I mean,
Beck.
it hasn't come up. I understand. Pickleball's a lot more
Right.
common, but I was always curious about understanding the game. Like I watch people play cricket, and more. I've seen it happen a number of times now. Believe it or not, in North Hempstead, where people are on a baseball field and they're playing cricket. Um, so I was just curious.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Interesting.
We'll have to find out, Otto. We'll have to, see what all the rage is about cricket. So
They're using basketball, a basketball field. What do you call it? Basketball
Court?
Baseball.
court. Thank you. Hello. Had one of those. I had that metformin moment that the
Well, when
doctor
you're
had.
over 50, you're allowed to do that.
I'm allowed. I'm way over. So yeah, the basketball court. They're using the basketball. They use a basketball court for pickleball and a baseball field for cricket.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So
Do
things
we have a
change.
field like that at Fun Day Monday?
I know, because I was literally just thinking
Open
that. I don't,
space like that.
Yeah, you
Of
do
where we
actually.
do it?
On the other side of where Fun Day Monday is, going the other way, there's a baseball field which is used by the Little League. And connected with that, there's a big field. I know that because I used to go there for picnics with the family, and we would play softball there. Um, so, when you go into Fun Day Monday and you go in through the gate, and there's a picnic area to your left when you go in with tables and whatnot. Well, if you go past that further, there's a field there, and there's a baseball
yeah.
field, and there's a big empty field, which could be used for cricket.
wow. Well, we'll have to see, Beck. We'll have to see if there's interest in
Fun Day
cricket.
Monday 2023.
Yeah, it's like all
Well,
kinds of
cricket
stuff.
demonstration.
Yeah, Otto, maybe you'll just have to be the cricket instructor. You'll have to get well
No,
versed.
I'm not. I don't know anything about the game. Baseball,
He wants us to hire an
That's
instructor.
right.
baseball. No, you might have people who live here who
Yeah, that
are
know. Yeah.
enthusiastic cricket
Yeah.
fans.
We'll have
who
to
would
bring it
be
up at the
interested in
next
sharing
advisory committee.
their knowledge of cricket and just explaining it as a cultural breakdown, where a game that's played by a lot of cultures in the world. We don't play it here, but there are a lot of people who live here now who did play
Yeah.
it.
Listen,
Yeah.
we'll have to find out. We'll have to inquire more about it. But maybe you could bring it up, Otto, at our next advisory committee meeting, which is on Wednesday, June 22nd at Clin G. Martin Park. And Otto, you will be happy because we will have the Parks Department will be there presenting upcoming events. Since you missed last week, you can find out. And there's so much going on at the different pools, and there's tennis being offered at the Manor Haven pool, and there's a lot of great movies being shown, and just of course different concerts. There's the Shakespeare in the Park will also be going on starting next week. So there's a lot going on in the Parks Department. So I'm excited that they will be at our advisory committee meeting, which is Wednesday, June 22nd at 10 a.m. at Clin G. Martin Park. It's also virtual still. In addition, if you are just, so if you want the Zoom link, you can just call 311 and we will get you the Zoom link too. So, I think it's going to be a good meeting. So definitely, come to that. Speaking of the concerts that are coming up, the first concert kicks off on Thursday, June 30th at 7 p.m. It is going to be Porchlight, which is a dance and rock band, and that's going to be at Mary Jane Davies Green. So definitely come check that out, and they're free, which is really, really nice. So that's then the June concert, and then we have June 18th is Shakespeare in the Park, and that's at Clark Botanic Garden at 6 p.m. And then the movies, there is June 28th, Encanto will be at Bunky Reed Park at 9 p.m. So there's a lot of going on. And I love all these summer events because they're really fun for the whole family to do. So you can get the full schedule by calling 311. So definitely check all of that out.
And I think I might be going to Porchlight because that's the guy I know who plays keyboards, Jason.
Oh, yes. There you go. You can see Beck. And Beck's like the best go-to. She can give you like a quick blurb on all like the local bands. So if you call 311 and say, like, just give me a quick little rundown, Beck is your girl. So there you go. Also,
Mhm.
next week on June 15th, I really encourage people to check this out. It's Healthy Living for Your Brain and Body. It's going to be presented by the Alzheimer's Association. And it's a really interesting take on kind of learning about this because it's all about just healthy lifestyle habits that you can adopt to maintain or even improve your, brain health. So that is going to be at Clinton G. Martin Park, June 15th from 1 to 2 p.m. So I encourage people to please check that out because they are so fabulous. We've had the Alzheimer's Association has provided so many programs for us on the radio show and, different chats as well. So that is next week. And I cannot believe all these things that are, there are so many different programs and events still going on during the summer. So the early bird registration for the pools is still going on. It's going to continue until June 17th. So I just want to remind people you have a window that you could still do the early bird registration. And then once June 17th hits, it's the regular registration. So
What does early bird mean? What does that do for you?
early bird, there's different rates.
Okay.
Yep. So there's like less, and it's, there's the rates that you have to call 301 for that because there is a different rate for so many different situations.
Right.
There's family rates, there's senior rates, there's, a whole bunch of stuff that goes on. So, but take advantage of it. I was so blown away last week at all the different, programs that go on top of, just going to the pool. They offer a lot of great stuff. So definitely check that out, or you can come to our advisory committee meeting and find out about that as well. So on June 12th, I got nervous, I thought June 12th had passed. Planting for Nature with Nassau CCE Master Garden Volunteers, Cheryl Bennett and Nancy Youngford. They are plant enthusiasts, and they're going to explore the different types of garden planting that's beneficial to pollinators and other wildlife in your garden. So we know that we've learned, the town always does their pollinator pledge that really helps the garden in so many different ways and the environment.
Is that at Clark?
That's at Clark Botanic Garden, yes, which is always like the best place to go for all these
Yeah.
beautiful planting things. So you can call 311 for that, which I'm very intrigued with. My husband laughs at me because I just constantly want, some kind of new plant outside. So that is really exciting, especially if it's beneficial. So call 311 because they're constantly doing. It's part of the Seasons in the Garden at Clark.
You grow any vegetables?
So we have to get back into it. When COVID first hit, my husband wanted to, because he was terrified about the shortages. So there was this company from Australia that made this thing called the Veggie Pod. And it was like a kind of enclosed.
The veggie what?
Veggie Pod.
Oh, the veggie pod. Okay.
So it was enclosed because our whole thing was we didn't want like animals to get to the vegetables because that's always the issue, when you grow vegetables. So this was this cool little container. We were like, we planted all kinds of stuff. We bought seeds. Our garden was like booming. But it takes to you have to maintain it. I was excited because these adorable little carrots came out of it. So I thought that was just the cutest. But this year I was saying to him, I was like, one, we have to plant, but apparently there's certain windows and time frames you have to plant things. To me, I'm like, oh, let's just plant some seeds, but he said we kind of missed our window for the things that we wanted to plant, but we still have our veggie pod and plan to get back into it. So stay tuned for that,
Well,
I've got flowers everywhere, I might not have vegetables, but I have a palm tree, so.
So that's it for the show, people. You were listening to Project Independence in You, Community Talk Radio on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. We had a great show thanks to Kristina. We had Dr. Murthy, who is the Vice Chairperson of Neurology. We learned a lot of facts about neuropathy, right, Otto?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to you, Otto, for being the best co-host on Project Independence in You, and always great, Kristina. Thank you so much for all you do. This program wouldn't be a program without you. And also thanks to Dan Cox at WCWP.org, 88.1 FM. Have a great weekend, all. Take care.